Yeah, I mean it's amazing just how bad the culture has gotten and how I mean a lot of people and I would generally agree that like we're in the process of Rome falling. And I don't know if the American Empire will survive this. And that's how bad things are. Like this all the woke stuff and the debt running out of control, the endless wars, the endless propaganda, the bread and circuses, the attack on the family, which I view as like I don't like conservatives because to me it's like a family version of collectivism. They say that the family is the root of the base unit of society. I'm like, no, it's wrong. Individuals, human beings are individuals, not families. But I do believe that the family is the base political entity, the base polity of any civilization and should be. It's the smallest political entity that exists, right? You have rules, you have a mother, you have a father, in theory, right, or ideally. You have children, you have a home, you have a perimeter. These people then go out through different mechanisms and vote and form governments and stuff to secure these rights, as our founding fathers did. Anyway, getting off tangent, but
oh, that's all right.
Yeah, racism is gross, man. And these people, all the woke people, are like hyper racist. It's insane.
Yeah, although maybe some white pilling is that there are people who have been speaking up against this. For instance, Robin DiAngelo in her book White Fragility, many people just view that as absolute nonsense. Well, there is a popular crowd that's in support of that kind of stuff. A lot of people have come out and said like, hey, you know, this was like the best-selling book, but this is just a lot of nonsense, and let's show you why. So a lot of people definitely speaking out against it, and a lot of laws that people also disagree with and speaking out against. We saw the Canadian truckers, for instance. That was quite the story a few weeks back. So yeah,
Charlie Kirk today actually tweeted that there's a war on white people in America. And I was like, whoa, that's like some Nick Fuente stuff. Like, yeah. And yeah, I think it doesn't mean that white people are the only. It doesn't mean that there's only anti-white racism in America, but anti-white racism is the most politically and socially acceptable form of it right now, and you have it institutionally in colleges in America against whites and Asians, and that to me is sick. Affirmative action is super racist. All of it needs to be abolished. It's crazy. I hate all of it's garbage.
Yeah, and even with, you mentioned Elon Musk and Twitter, there were some commentators who were saying, well, it's not about Elon wanting free speech, it's just like angry white men wanting to say certain N-bombs, right? Like, who's really advocating for this? Are we back in the 60s here in the Triple K?
Yep.
Like, we're not advocating for anything like that at all.
Ironically, of course, Elon is literally an African American by their standards, right? They don't want to admit that, but yeah, it's a wild world we live in, man. And where it's going, I don't know, man. I mean, you could take some white pills if you want, but there's plenty of black pills you could chug too on this stuff, man.
Yeah,
it's definitely uncertain, and we're at a pivot or a turning point between kind of the next Renaissance or the next Dark Age, as I view it. And it's going to go one of two ways, as I see it, positive or negative on this. And I think we have yet to quite reach that point, which direction it's going to go. But we're in the middle of it for sure, and it's getting pretty wild.
Yeah, and on America being more secular, I've seen many surveys where people are being more skeptical of belief in supernatural religion. But one thing I fear is that they're adopting new religious ideas that aren't supernatural, but rather, like we talked about, some of the white fragility stuff for sure.